Recorded live, coast to coast, it's the Nissan Nation podcast. From camping, racing, and all points in between. The NNP is your Nissan Nation podcast. Now start your engines and welcome in the hosts, David and Danny.
Welcome in, Nissan Nation. My name is David Boyd, along with my co-host, Daniel, the Big Deal Grooters. What's going on, Dan?
Not too much. Happy to be here in the nation that is Nissan. What's up, Dave?
Oh, man. How is the West Coast doing tonight?
It was a little blustery over here in the West Coast. 70 degrees, which is nice. But when the wind's blowing, it can chap our lips a little bit.
Aww.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, and here we've been in the 30s and 40s, so.
Yeah, but chapped lips, man, that's rough.
Well, I do get that. So, for those that don't know, this is episode 1 of the Nissan Nation podcast. My name is David Boyd. That big man over there on the West Coast is Daniel Grooters. We're going to give you a little background on each of us. Dan, why don't you go ahead?
Roger that, Dave. Nissan is my deal. I own a company called Xterra Performance. We specialize in selling off-road Nissan stuff. And I started driving a Nissan Xterra now about 5 years ago, I want to say. And I need something to haul the kids around when I still wanted something a little bit beefy to take off-road. And kind of snowballed from there. I went to a gonemoab in 2009, I want to say. And started lifting the truck and off-roading and started the business and meeting so many cool people in the Nissan community. I kind of just fell in love with everybody that was part of the community. I've made so many great friends, and it's kind of hard not to be in the Nissan Nation now, if you will. Met David Boyd on the forums a long time ago, and after meeting him a few times at different events, we ended up becoming great buddies.
You poor bastard.
It's true though. When you guys meet Dave, you'll understand.
Yeah, either you love me or you hate me.
It's true.
Well, my name is David Boyd. I am the owner of Xterra Nation, Frontier Nation, and the soon-to-be Titan Nation, all Nissan-related auto forums. I also started the NXM, which is also known as the National Xterra Meet here on the East Coast. That last year has turned into windrock, which is an off-road event for all Nissan trucks, not just Xterra-related. I've been a moderator on forums like Club Xterra. And that's pretty much me. I own many Nissans. Let's see, I own a 2000 Nissan Xterra that I'm actually swapping out axles with. I've owned in the past. I've owned a 2001 Nissan Xterra that sadly I lost. Me and my wife currently own a 2009 Nissan Xterra, which is pretty much our camping rig. And my daily driver right now is a G35. So I am Nissan proud at the moment. Well, Dan, what do you got?
I have right now in my garage, which is not currently running. I have a 2006 Nissan Xterra Off-Road Edition. I got it all Titan swapped. And then in the driveway as my daily driver, I have a 2014 Frontier Pro 4X. And that is my Nissan quiver, if you will. And then you know what? This year I'm going to be racing a Nissan Xterra that's out in Utah. So
dude,
I like to think that's in my quiver as well now.
The big deal,
semi quiver.
The big deal is going to be on the racetracks.
Yes. You know what? The first race, I'm not sure if they're going to let me drive.
I wouldn't let you drive either way.
We'll see. I have to make sure and be a good boy and during the first race in order to make sure that they'll actually put me behind the wheel. But Best in the Desert Mint 400 is going to be the first time I race. It's been a dream of mine since I was a young buck, and it's going to happen this year. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, that's awesome, man. It's good to see Nissan in the racing world as far as off-roading too.
Yeah, they actually did some really great stuff in the Dakar this year too. They have been in and out of the race world with stadium trucks and stuff like that. But they just had a really great race team in the Dakar, and it'll be great to get a Nissan out in some local events too, out here in Las Vegas where we're going to be racing.
Are they still doing the pace truck for the stadium trucks, or what was the off-road series they were doing?
Are you talking about Best in the Desert?
No, Nissan last year, I can't remember the name of the racing they were doing all over the country, and they had an Xterra as a pace truck.
It's possible. I can tell you right now that I have no idea.
Sydney McFadden.
Though we are the Nissan Nation, we don't know everything, unfortunately. And I am a very, very smart person because I am the big deal. But I don't know everything, Dave.
Well, come on, buddy. Come on now.
Sorry. Listen, man. Okay. When my mother forged me in her womb, she bestowed in me many things, but full knowledge of all Nissan things I've been working on, and I'm pretty good in the off-road world, and I'm learning a lot of cool stuff about the new cars. But let's talk real quick about the new stuff that Nissan's coming out with, though.
Yeah, let's see. The Detroit Auto Show just happened, and they had brought out the 2016 Titan XD. This is pretty cool. It's going to be the second generation Titan. The last one was long in the tooth. I think the partnership that they were trying to do with Ram Dodge before Fiat bought them kind of screwed things up, or they would have had one out by now.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we know about this new thing? It's coming in some normal big truck colors.
Wait, Dave, did you say it was Cummins in some new truck colors?
Oh.
Was that a pun? Did you throw puns to the first Nissan Nation podcast? Was that on purpose? Sorry. Please tell the crowd if that was on purpose or if that was a natural pun.
Well, I think that was just a natural pun. But
fantastic. Great job, sir.
That new Cummins 5.0 V8 is going to be turbo with 310 horsepower and 555 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty beastly for a mid-size, well, we'll say 1.5-ton truck.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've seen a lot of people hating on the styling. I'm so diehard that they could have put out an old shoe, and I would have been like, "That's a sweet Titan, man." Just because it has a diesel. I mean, I have a little soft spot in my heart for some diesel trucks. Because a good friend of mine was in the diesel market for so long, and he was always showing me all his sweet trucks. So I was pretty stoked. Like I really could care less whether it looked amazing or not. I know as soon as most stock trucks when they pop out of the assembly line, I say, oh yeah, it's pretty cool looking, but you take one of those and you slap bumpers and a lift on it, and it looks about 10 times cooler no matter what you do. So
well, yeah, definitely. And people have already we'll post this up on the website, but people have already done photoshops like crazy, and some of them look a little ridiculous, and then some of them are just freaking wicked, man.
Yeah, it's a sweet truck. You know what? I was reading up on them, and I watched a couple little videos that they had kind of put out, that other people had put out, and they're really into kind of little detail things that customers ask for, and I think is what they really like to do. There's cool things like just lights in the bed area, light up your awesome bed area. They were like the first ones to put in those Utilitracks. They have what is that? The towing out of the center of the bed. What do you call that?
The gooseneck.
The gooseneck. Yeah, the gooseneck. Just tons of cool stuff like that, and I think that's super, super nice when you're getting a new truck. They've kind of like thought of everything for you.
Right.
So I think it's cool that they incorporated a lot of that stuff. And I've yet to see the truck in person. I was going to last weekend, but I wasn't able to get out and see it. But I can't wait to see it in person. I think it's going to be a really cool truck to drive and stuff.
Yeah, they had it at the 4 Wheel Parts and a couple other places out there.
Yeah, they had it at a big car show they brought out 4 Wheel Parts. Funny enough, they have that. I was looking and I was trying to figure it out. They have that. They've been bringing that yellow one around, but it's not an option according to their website. So I don't know what colors. I really all I care about is the red. I told my wife that I wanted a red. She said, "Sure, no problem. You better be making a lot more money when you buy it." So.
Well, that's right. Well, you're the big deal, so that's just a matter of time.
So no problem. I'll just
well, I think the yellow one's going to be the Pro. What is it? The Pro 4X that they offer.
It's possible.
So I think that's kind of what that one's going to be. That obviously more exciting off road. The weekend warrior that wants to show off and be bright and loud.
I truly cannot wait. I mean. What I'm doing with the websites now with Xterra Performance, I'm going to be opening Frontier Performance here in the next month, and I'd love to start doing some stuff for Titans. Before the Xterra and the Titans were all interchangeable stuff with the front end. So I'm really looking forward to see what we can come out for Titan suspension, what they kind of have. It'll be great to kind of get under the truck and work with some of these other guys that are in the Nissan community that build stuff for these, and really kind of trick them out a little bit and see what they can do. I cannot wait to get my hands on one.
Well, the thing I've heard about the normal gas V8s and V6 is that the frame could be near identical right now. So which is good for a lot of aftermarket. It's going to bring a lot of quick aftermarket to them.
Yeah, I think so. That from all my internet gazing, if you will, the suspension looks very similar, and I think that would be really helpful when bringing it, because I mean it's the Titan suspension isn't there's nothing really wrong with it. I've never heard of anybody complaining, and there's so much cool aftermarket stuff for it.
Right.
I'd be happy if it was just slightly different. It would be able to make some great stuff right off the bat for it.
No, I think initially the first year they had some axle problems, which is, for any manufacturer is going to have a couple problems. But no, the last Titan's been pretty bulletproof.
Yeah, what was it? About a 10-year production run almost, right?
No, 12 years.
12 years, that's right. That's
2003.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
that's a long production range for a full-size truck, man.
Well,
I mean, Ford's had like 7 since then.
Well, I think Nissan Xterra is trying to push that one, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I from what I'm hearing right now is they're going to bring out the XD model first, and I think they're trying to build a lot of excitement around that one. Then they're going to bring out the kind of the workhorse vehicles where they're going to have the V6, the work trucks, your basic white truck that everybody's going to want to put their help in. Then that one I think I'm hearing is going to be a little over 300 horsepower. So,
all right.
So I mean that's an improvement, because if it's the same 4-liter that they're putting in the Frontier, that right now is at 261. So that's a pretty good increase, and I think that's what all the other big boys, the GMs and your Fords, are doing right now with their V6 is well over 300.
Yeah, and you know what? To tell you the truth, Dave, I mean there's a lot of talk of the Nissan Frontier. They did their product testing, I guess you would call it, with their concept Frontier with the small Cummings in it, and I think it would be really fantastic if they had a small Titan with that small Cummins in it as well, just as a small work truck. I don't know, who knows if that's something that's even in their ballpark, but I think just the fact that they're moving to a lot of different options with Cummings and their diesel options that they have, I think it's going to be a really great future for Nissan. They just have so many cool new things that are coming out. When I was checking out all their new cars and all their concept cars and their concept stuff, that new Maxima. Have you taken? Well, it's not a new Maxima per se, but have you taken a look at that thing?
I have, man, and since I'm right next door to the plant, basically, I know plenty of people out there, and they're currently in trials with that car right now.
They call it what is it? The Sport Coupe or something like that? What do they call it?
No, it was the Sport Sedan concept is what they were showing last year at the Detroit Auto Show, and everything I've been told is it's basically the same car, just a few minor detail changes.
I believe it won like the concept car of the year last year at one of the large auto shows.
Really, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think the thing looks like a rocket ship, so which is super super awesome. I think the worst thing is people are going to hate is that CVT, and from what I'm hearing, it's going to still be front wheel drive. Which when you have such a beautiful car like that, it's like, come on, man, make it a real.
Yeah, you hate to hear and see that. Hopefully, I mean, the way technology moves, hopefully they can work out a lot of the bugs. I mean, CVT, when you hear that word, if you've ever owned one or driven one, you think, oh man. I think the technology is technically, it's cool technology, and they could make something cool out of it, but just the problems that have come along with it over the years, people cringe. I just really hope that they can engineer it so where it actually works good. You know what I'm saying?
I've had a 2007 Maxima that had that CVT in it. I guess it was probably the first generation of that. And, ultimately I could never, it didn't bother me to drive that car. It felt good. It was quick, real responsive. The only time we did have it fail we had a CVT go out on it as I was heading to a dentist appointment. So you can, you're already aggravated. So let's
got
just
snaggletooth CVT problems.
Yeah. I had a gearing go out in my mouth, but the funny thing was when it went out and it continued to drive. It just didn't want to, I think it probably dropped a band or whatever they have in it.
It dropped a unicorn. However, the unicorn hair broke off the CVT.
Yes. The little Tinkerbell Bell fairies just was not for that transmission, but Nissan is super headstrong. They're going to continue with that thing. They've put it pretty much in everything they do besides the trucks. Thank God we haven't seen it in the trucks yet, but hey, I give it to them. They've found a way with doing minimal stuff to their engines to get the mileage up. And if it's just in the transmission like that, hey, we're gonna have to live with it. The cafe stuff that's hitting this year, is hurting on a lot of these manufacturers.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's gonna.
What are your thoughts and what have you heard as far as the horse ponies that are going to be under the hood for the new Maxima?
Well,
have they talked about that at all, or is it going to be soft?
Well, from what I understand is I believe they call it the VQ series.
Right.
That whole series is getting a bump up from what I understand.
Yeah.
And rumors been told to me that even the trucks and everything is getting a new a lot more horsepower out of that engine.
That'll be sweet, and coupled with the boomerang headlight, their touted boomerang headlights that apparently shoot off the car, swing around, and hit the wallabies behind you. Well, I think that's going to be a pretty sweet vehicle to be freaking cruising, especially if you're in the outback, man.
Oh, definitely, and it brings back memories of Crocodile Dundee. So.
Oh, dude, that ain't a knife.
That's not a Maxima.
That's not a knife. This is a boomerang headlight.
You know what though? I'm going to give it to them. Nissan has really went super aggressive with their styling. They've kind of been the fifth monkey in the whole deal of the car chain.
Yeah.
And they've had to really do something to separate themselves from Toyota. Who's an import is the kind of the car to beat right now. And I think worldwide, I just read some numbers that they sold the most cars in the world last year. So
that's awesome.
And then
they had the was it the I'm blanking. Was it the Leaf?
Yeah, that's the battery operated.
Yeah, the Leaf. Yeah, that was voted number one car in the world, I want to say, last year.
Really?
But when I'm an ex BMW mechanic and I have a soft spot in my heart for BMWs, but BMW kind of I got real sad almost because for a long time BMW was just cookie cutter sedan.
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything proactive with their styling. They were just kind of slapping some generic sedans together. I mean, they were cool and some of them were fast. They have great technology and stuff like that. But I loved seeing we'll call it the Maxima, but whatever the sports sedan concept as they call it. I loved looking at that and thinking, this thing looks better than the Aston Martins, the Maseratis that are out there. Cause there's a couple 4-door, sports sedans that are out there that new sports sedan concept was blew them out of the water as far as how it looked comparatively speaking.
Sure.
So I think that'll be cool to see.
I think like I was saying, being kind of the low man on the totem pole, they've really had to just bump up their design, do aggressive. That explains what is the Juke. I mean either love it or hate it. The thing is selling, and it's selling worldwide.
It is selling like crazy. I do not get it. And it's totally grown on me.
Oh, come on, dude!
It's like a wart that scratches your back.
I love that car from day
you're
one.
Like, oh man, I got a wart, but you're like, but it scratches my back, and now I kind of like getting my back scratched all the time, and I don't even care if it's a wart. It's scratching my back, and I'm down with it. You know what I'm saying? It grows on you, man.
Well, they Nissan England put the GTR engine and performance package in that little thing, and I'll scratch that itch anytime.
Yeah, sweet. I'm not sure if I got propositioned right now, Dave, but I think we should move on to the next part of our show.
let's get a couple more shows in before I really proposition you, Dan.
Roger that. Got
it. I mean, the next thing you know, you'll be flying out here just for weekends, instead of events.
I thought I did that already.
Oh no, not well. We won't talk about North Carolina, Dan. Come on, the listeners don't want to know.
people know, but if you know about North Carolina, you know.
Well, let's see. The new Maxima, from what I'm hearing, is going to have a hybrid option, which, from my understanding, is the same one that the Altima is using right now.
Right.
Which is, people that commute, they want to save a little dollars.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that. I had a little Kia hybrid that the wife drove, and I like hybrid technology. Coming from the BMW background again, I like engineering and technology coming into the cars. Some people hate the hybrids and the Priuses. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hate Priuses. I headbutt them anytime I can.
That's right. I thought you hated Cadillacs, man.
Those two. But you know what? They have their place in this world, and I like that they're pushing technology, into cars. They're coming out with cool new stuff. I mean, BMW had a hybrid that was like 650 horsepower or something like that. It was like a hybrid that got 17 miles a gallon. And,
Ooh.
It was kind of ridiculous. But, you could actually get a ton more power out of electric motors and stuff like that. But it's cool new technology. I like electric cars. It's cool to see that kind of stuff coming into the market. It kind of throws a curveball into what we might see in the future. So who knows? Maybe we'll be off-roading in 10 years with hybrid, electric motor assisted crawlers.
Sure. Well, I mean,
it's not there's nothing wrong with that. It goes against some of the diehard fans, but I don't see any problems with it.
I think the torque in something like that would be outrageous for off-roading.
Absolutely.
So the current 3.5 V6, they're saying it's I looked on their website earlier. It's hitting about 300. From what I'm hearing, you're going to see 310 to 320 somewhere in there for the next one.
I think that's a great kind of baseline for these days for your average sports sedan, I guess you would say.
Sure. Well, Infiniti, there's nothing Infiniti's building right now that's under 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
And I know, I know the next little sports car Infiniti's building is, I think it's supposed to be a hybrid as well, which you're looking at 400 horsepower. And I've also heard that Infiniti's going to do a twin turbo. So
nice.
that one was quoted at 400 horsepower, and they did preview that little coupe at the Detroit Auto Show as well.
You're talking about the IDX?
No.
Talking about another Infiniti.
No, and IDX is currently Nissan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're just talking about just the Infiniti stuff.
Yeah, Infiniti. And usually what happens is, Infiniti gets it for a few years, and those motors start trickling down to Nissan.
Yep.
So I think pretty much Nissan.
They call that trickle automotive economics.
Really?
Trickle down.
Really?
Trickle.
I think we had
like
a president.
Dick Trickle?
I think we had a president that tried that too.
Remember that race car driver, Dick Trickle?
I do remember Dick Trickle. I don't think they were racing Nissans though.
No, he wasn't. Definitely not an Nissan.
Well, welcome to the Dave and Dan show here, guys.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
That's
a lot of
right,
seriousness, and then I go off the deep end.
It's Pinky in the Brain here.
Yep.
Well, anyways, if you get a couple shots, I think AutoGuide or somebody had some pictures of the car from the auto show last year. If you look at it, it's very GTR influenced. If you look at the roof lines, it's definitely got that strange sway that the GTR has, and obviously they found some things in the GTR to keep the aerodynamics, very smooth and help. Right. And that's going to only help with miles per gallon, which we all love. I'm not sure what the gas prices are in the area code you're in.
We're at about $2.49 right now, sir.
Oh, I just paid $1.39, buddy, with my Kroger discount. Thank you, Kroger.
$1.39?
I did. I almost took a picture for you, Dan.
Dang.
But yeah, gas.
I guess I'll just settle for chapped lips. And there you go. We circled the show all the way around.
Yes, I love how this thing circled around. But yeah, gas is about $1.69 here right now. So, I got a 30-cent discount, and I am not going to complain. Thank you, Kroger's, Mr. East Coast Kroger's. We love you.
Are you really doing a shout-out to Kroger's?
If you would like to be a sponsor of this fine show and maybe a gas card or two, Anyways, so Nissan Maxima, this last generation, has stopped building at the Nissan plant here in Smyrna, Tennessee, and they are in trials right now with this new one. I'm hoping to see one as soon as I see one floating around. Usually we get to see the little production cars, but they're all badged up and camouflaged up.
Yeah.
As soon as I get to see it, you'll see it on our Facebook page at Nissan Podcast, or I'm sorry, Nissan Nation Podcast, and on our website, www.nissannationpodcast.com. We'll try to keep these things current, and maybe we can get Dan to go off on a tangent on one of these things and write a blog where it circles around somehow.
I know circle blogging like the back of my hand, sir. Classic Groder circle blogging.
That's right, man. So, get back into our backgrounds a little bit. I just want to let everybody know this, you're going to hear us cut up and joke around because we're just two idiots that love these silly cars, but this is going to be a serious show. We plan on attending some events this year. I know Dan helps with Gone Moab, which is an off-road truck event in Utah. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Dan?
Yeah. Gone Moab. Gone is an acronym for Gathering of Nissan Enthusiasts. It's one of the two largest Nissan events in the United States right now, right next to Windrock, which also is a acronym, Wheeling Enthusiasts of Nissan Trucks. See how we do that? We're
That's
smart.
Right. East Coast, West Coast show.
Yep. So yeah, Gone Moab. There's probably about 150, 200 people that drive Nissan trucks and love off-roading. We all meet up in Moab, Utah, and it's a week of trail rides and barbecues and raffle giveaways. The guys over the guys that run the Gone Moab event are great guys. Was just talking to them tonight. We're looking at having them on probably episode 2 here. Do a little interview with those guys.
That'll be awesome.
That event's in May. And if you're interested in that, that's something to look at. They got a Facebook page. Go over and check out their Facebook page. It's it's just a Gone Moab on Facebook. I'm sure you should be able to find it if you type that in. But yeah, I'll be one of the sponsors on that, and I'll be out at that event, as well as Windrock, which is when's Windrock this year?
It is. You're gonna hit me like this on. I believe it is September 16th through the 20th. Last time I checked, anyways. Yes, for Windrock, for those that don't know, is an off-roading event for all Nissan trucks and SUVs, minus that new ugly Pathfinder. We'll talk about that in episodes down the road. But it is here in east coast of Tennessee, in the hills and the Appalachian Mountains. We let's see, Windrock Park itself. You can look them up on the internet. They 72,000 acres of playground, so you can go out there and never see the same leaf fall twice, or run into the same tree maybe.
Yeah. And it's great to see both. For me, I've attended both events now here. I want to say 2 years in a row, and it's really great to go to Moab and see the off-roading there, and then see the off-roading that they do over in the East Coast. It's kind of wet over there. It's muddy. The rocks are different. Moab's kind of its own animal. It's hot, and it's over here on the western side. Just two totally different events. Totally different set of people too. Some guys go to both, but they're both great events. And if you're interested in them, Google them, figure it out, ask some questions on Facebook. And I know Dave's always, willing to talk about it and answer questions or whatnot.
Sure.
But we're really looking to go further than just the off-road stuff this year. There's going to be some car events that we might be attending, and looking at talking and interviewing with some great guys that are in the G forums, some of the old Datsun guys. The sky's the limit for us when it comes to Nissan, and we're really looking forward to this year and what who we can talk to and what kind of unicorns we can find to chat with.
Sure, and I think we're going to have a special interview with maybe the owner of Nico Club. I believe it's called.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, so and that's a guy that's been in the business of forums for quite a long time, 12, 13 years or so. The guy's seen these things grow, exponentially. He, I think they started
owned about 15 or 20 different Nissans now. If I remember, I was stalking him on the internet earlier.
Oh,
and
yes.
Man, he has had a heck of a ownership history, if you will. I think he had stuff that you can only get if you send a letter to the Queen of France.
The Emperor of Japan.
Good luck with that, because France doesn't have a queen.
That's right.
So that's why it's such a big deal.
But they do have part ownership of Nissan, so
that's true.
But we've got some interviews from guys like that. We have I think it's Z1 here in Atlanta that does nothing but Zs and high-end Infinities and stuff. They do race cars. I'm hoping to get down there to some of their events. I know Dan has some local clubs there, and out in Southern California, the clubs out there are ridiculous. For us East Coast guys, we've never seen what they do out there and how they put on a show.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. We got a lot of great stuff planned. We're going to be doing pre and post race updates when I go out to Las Vegas. I'll be racing in the Mint 400, so I'll be giving you guys hopefully kind of like a play-by-play. We'll do a pre-race update on how the trucks come along, and we're right now we're looking at middle of March is when the race is. We have some stuff to finish up on the truck, and we should be doing some shakedown runs. And so right before when I get when I get to Las Vegas, we'll probably do a quick show, kind of give an update, and hopefully I'll be able to record some stuff in between the race days and let you guys know how things are going and then how we finished out. So that'll be I think that'll be an exciting little time for me, at least. I don't know if you guys will care if you're listening or not, but
Hey,
at least
man,
you can hear my mad ramblings.
We all love Nissan here, so I think our audience will enjoy that greatly, Dan.
It'll probably just be me like heaving and huffing. Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing thing I've ever done.
This cost me how much? What?
Yeah, right.
By the way, I think Dan, I don't know if you hit it there or not, but Dan has a website in the works for that.
Yes, hopefully. We've been running into problems, but it should be up fairly soon. TeamXterraRacing.com. The site's not quite up yet. We're still working. We had some technical problems, but if you wanted to follow us, we do have a Facebook group, which is Team Xterra Racing, and also on our Facebook Xterra Performance. I'll be posting stuff up there as well. So yeah, I'll be blogging, posting everywhere I possibly can just to keep you guys updated and show all the awesome pictures that we're going to be hopefully bringing. We'll be videotaping the race and trying to get as much of that cool stuff out for you guys to ogle over, if you will.
Well, I know personally I can't wait to see that, and I can't wait to see the smile on your face from you driving that thing around, or at least getting to stand next to it. Hopefully they'll let you actually get in the cockpit and drive.
We're hoping. Yeah, we tomorrow actually I'll be going down to one of our sponsors is DJ Safety. They make great safety gear, fire suits, helmets, and window nets, and all that kind of great stuff.
Dan, are you literally plugging somebody on our show?
I guess I am.
What?
I never stop. ABC, Dave, always be closing.
That's right, buddy.
I'm gonna head down there. I'm gonna be fitted for my fire suit. I'm gonna pick out a helmet, all that great
Lord.
stuff. And it's gonna start feeling like I'm a real big deal. One day I'm gonna actually be a big deal, Dave. I promise.
Hey man, I've seen you in action. You are the big deal.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Once I put that helmet on, then I'll really feel like it.
Oh God.
Until then, I'm just gonna fake it till I make it.
Help us all there. Yeah, if you want to see, definitely go to one of these events. I'm pretty sure Dan's talked about flying out to the East Coast again this year, but if you see one of us around, you'll see our pictures all over the Facebook and stuff. Hit us up. We don't know you. You don't know us, but we want to interview everybody. I don't care if you're a small guy, just, trying to find a muffler or some pipes for your car, or whether you're, really into this and, want to be a desert racer or whatever. We definitely want to have you on. This is what we do. This is what we talk about. Also, check us out once again, NissanNationPodcast.com, Nissan on Facebook, Nissan Nation Podcast on Facebook as well. We are on multiple forums, Titan Talk, Xterra Nation, the New X. If I can find a forum, we're on it. We'd like to keep everything centralized, but we will pay attention to those forums and try to answer a question. If you got a topic you want to talk about, please hit us up. We're going to try to do these shows every couple weeks till you can't get enough of us, or till 0 ratings like we are right now.
Classic. We're planning on working towards 0 ratings, and we're probably in the negative.
Well, my dog is literally be sitting behind me right now, so we got one share.
Fell asleep while we were going. So
must be that diet pizza, Dan.
We have our first official board listener right behind you, Dave.
All right. So, hey, Dan, while we're sitting here just BSing away, why don't you give everybody a quick thing on the Power Rocks? For those that don't know, my buddy Mr. Gruder here carries some special rocks with him when he's on the event trails. And why don't you give everybody a little taste of the Dan?
Taste of the Dan, you say? If I only had enough time on this podcast, sir.
Hey, just keep it under 6 minutes.
Under 6 minutes, yeah, good luck. Power Rocks. Flew to, you know what? It was the first time I ever met you, Dave. It was a magical experience when I bought my Xterra sight unseen in Tennessee, and I flew out. Dave, you met me, and your face was shining like the rays of the raw sun god himself.
I think that was my forehead creeping up.
It's possible. And we met in a parking garage. It was like a casual
it was totally legit. Totally legit.
It was a totally casual encounter.
No cops were needed.
Walked out, grabbed my new fresh truck that I bought off the internet, sight unseen, and drove it up to Chicago. Had some deep dish, shot a Tommy gun, and then I picked up 3 vagabond hippies in Chicago in a dark, desolate area that I found on Craigslist.
Well, where else would you find these people? Yeah,
that's the only place to find them. Apparently, my buddy that I was staying with in Chicago said that was like the most dangerous train station in the entire Chicago area or something like that.
Oh God.
So another little fun fact. So I picked him up at like 4 a.m. at the most dangerous train track location in Chicago and ended up driving them all the way to Denver on my trip to Moab, Utah that year. And in payment, they gave me $30 gas money for the 17-hour ride between the 3 of them.
That seems fair.
And I think I actually bought one of them lunch too. So but I won't deduct that out of their humble meager giving.
Well, that was a tax write-off, right?
Oh, and one of them who sounded like he was stoned the whole time.
No, hippies.
He actually switched into Einstein mode and told me like step by step how to make hash oil. Apparently,
wow.
And during our ride, and then he went back into dopey mode.
Would their trip to Colorado have anything to do with that?
I think there's a 75% yes on that answer. That, and I think they were fleeing from something, but that is neither here nor there.
Hey, those are rumors.
So anyways, we get to like a dark alley in Colorado, and I drop him off, and the one guy's like, I got something for you, bro. And he pulls out the Power Rock out of his bag, and he hands it to me. He's like, dude, I found this in the mountains, and I wanted to give it to you, man. It's a Power Rock, and it's so important to me, and I want you to have it. So I became the proud owner of a hippie Power Rock, and
that is something. That's something, that stuff like
that. That is something, sir.
This will tell you how either idiotic or crazy we might be. Obviously, you had no idea about this truck really, other than like seeing it on a couple auto forums, I guess.
Yep, that was it.
Well,
he sent me the keys and the title in the mail, and I flew out to Tennessee to pick it up out of a parking garage.
Let me tell the audience here, to see somebody panically that's just flown from Southern California, instantly, I'm excited to meet my buddy who I've dealt with on the internet for quite a few years. I see the big deal, and when you stand the two of us next to each other, he's definitely the big deal because I'm the small fry of the bunch, round but small. So to see Dan's face sitting there, and there's just this nervousness on his face, and he's looking to get his bags from the checkout, and literally Dan was like, "Hi Dave," and just quiet, just total silence. So we make our way out to I bet you remember what level it was because you were.
It was right on the regular level, man. We walked right up to the parking garage, and it was sitting right there, right in the middle of the whole friggin' parking garage.
I've never seen somebody like so happy and scared in my life. And literally, I think you looked at the truck, you walked around it nervously, no dents. It looked just, I was sketched
because I didn't have any other plans. It was like that the basis for my whole like week and a half long road trip was hinging on the fact that this truck had to run like really well, and that I had to drive it like, I don't know, it was like 1,200 miles or something like that after I picked it up. I was really just hoping that it was like just basically good.
So to see Dan's face, you know, he gets in there instantly. He hits the little beeper and it unlocks, and he's panically, and he goes right to the door and it fires right up. So then you see this. Okay, I'm my trip is so far. You know, there's no glitches, and he's searching around the truck once again. It pulls it out. Everything looks great. Literally, Dan's like, I've got to go. And I was like, hey, dude, come on, I brought my Gen 2 Xterra up, and I thought, man, this is going to be cool. We'll get a couple pictures, you know. No, Dan has to go. So I think Dan took a wrong turn down Interstate 40 here in Nashville. Somehow we met right back up, and I got you to pull over in front of the Titan Stadium.
Yeah, that's right.
And literally there's a gas station right in front of this place. Dan's still just kind of playing it cool, trying to, but he's putting gas in this thing. He's like, I ain't got time for no bullshit right now. He's like, so literally, I think you spent like 5 minutes getting a couple pictures. I sent a couple pictures to my buddy out in New Mexico, and Dan was gone. And then
the problem was, Dave, is I flew out there thinking that it was for some, I don't know why, but I had Googled incorrectly or something. I flew out thinking that I had like a 2-hour drive ahead of me, and it turned out to be like a 6-hour drive ahead of me. I think it was. So I showed up at like, I want to say it was like 4 in the afternoon.
I think it was.
You know, I left. I want to say I left my house at like 3 in the morning to get to the, you know, LAX is a pain to get to. So I left crazy early in the morning, got in my flight. I had like a layover or something like that. And I got there at like 3 or 4. And then I think I got in the truck or something, and you're like, oh yeah, where are you going? And I'm like, oh, Chicago. You're like, dang, that's a long drive. And I'm like, wait, I thought it was a couple hours. You're like, no, that's like a 6-hour drive, dude. So whatever it was, I got to Chicago at like 2 in the morning, and I have no idea how I made it. Like, I was like driving on fumes.
I don't either, because when you flew out to North Carolina, the same kind of circumstances, like you literally could not drive us to Dan was like, okay, and we'll give details of the story a little later, but just a quick synopsis. Dan's like, flew in, we picked my wife up, we were going to North Carolina for an event. Dan's like, hey man, you ever want me to drive, just let me know. It's like, all right. So I worked that day, you know, like most people do. You're tired by the time you get home, let alone drive. How many hours was that? 7 hours to...
It was a 7-hour drive, yeah.
You know, and halfway in, Dan's like, hey, man, I got this. Let me drive. Literally, I think it was literally 45 minutes later.
Maybe.
Dan was like, I am out, guys. I am out.
I'm done.
And literally, I think I just dozed off a little bit. My eyes had just closed, and there's Dan going, dude. And I could see it in your face. It was no more. So how you made it to Chicago like that, I do not know.
That was the wild card trip from... you know, through caution to the wind, and everything worked. And I truly think that if I tried to do that trip all over again, it would just go severely badly for me. Like everything, there were so many chances for things to go south, and it didn't. So I'm just happy that I'm alive and not mugged on the side of the road.
That's right. Obviously your trip went north from there. So
yeah, ish. It actually went west.
Wow.
Just to be
come on, man.
Clear.
This ain't a geography show. This is a car show.
This is so. Welcome to cartographernation.com.
GPS Nation here. But
anyhow, man.
Well, Dan, anything else you want to talk about tonight, buddy?
I think we've covered about more than people want to hear for one night from the Dave and Danny show, the Davey and Danny show.
That's right, the Davey and Danny show. But let's see. Where are we going to end this? I think that was show number 1, Dan. I think
that's it. I think we got one in the books. I'm happy with it.
Or at least we got it on an iMac, I think. So.
Yeah, if this doesn't record, then we're going to have to come up with some new material, sir.
Well, let's see. What to expect next time. We're going to talk about a little bit more from Gone Moab. I think we're going to have a couple of those guys on the show.
Yeah, we should have Nick and Alex from the Gone Moab staff on to kind of talk about what's going to happen, what kind of events they're going to do. They're switching it up a little bit. They're going to have some different types of, you know, the way they're going to do the barbecues and the raffles and They got a couple new trails this year. I know the registration just opened, and they have. I heard that they've had the registration open for about a week and a half now, and they have 73 people signed up already.
That's ridiculous.
That was something that I heard, and I think that's amazing as far as numbers. So we'll have them on and find out some more information about Gone Moab.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So be sure to check back with us, guys, in maybe 2 weeks or so. We'll get this train rolling a little bit. My name is David Boyd, and for Daniel Gruters, the big deal, I'm going to say peace out, guys, and y'all have a good one.
See ya!